Reading through hundreds of lines of code is a heavy cognitive lift. When poorly delivered feedback collides with a developer's hard work, it often sparks defensive arguments and team drama. This five-step framework provides a specific path to navigate, evaluate, and finalize a code review without causing team conflict. To execute this, you only need three things: a pending pull request, your local development environment, and most importantly, an open mindset. You have to be willing to leave your ego at the door. By sticking to a structured, objective process, we stop treating reviews like hostile critiques. Instead, the review becomes a collaborative tool to catch bugs early and level up the entire engineering team. Step 1 happens before you review a single line of code. You open the pull request and you read the description. Jumping straight to the file changes is a common trap, especially when you are busy. The author usually outlines what the changes actually do right in that summary, saving you from guessing their intent. Once you understand the goal, move to the codebase, but start your skim by looking exclusively at the unit test files. Unit tests serve as highly practical documentation. They show you exactly how the new logic is intended to behave under different conditions, which frames how you should evaluate the rest of the application. While you review these, watch out for one specific structural error: an author mocking the actual class under test. If you spot that, drop a quick helpful note, letting them know they'll need to adjust their testing strategy. Completing this preliminary pass ensures you understand the full context before you critique the execution. You build a solid foundation so you don't waste time misunderstanding the developer's goals. Step 2 is evaluating the core logic. Here, you are scanning the main code base for best practices, sensible variable names, and making sure the author is using the language's native features properly. When you do find an area for improvement, frame your feedback as a question. Ask why a certain approach was taken, instead of telling them what to do. Sometimes a piece of code is visibly incorrect and could cause unintended side effects. When that happens, step out of the public comment thread. Send the author a direct message or start a quick video call to talk it through. Evaluation goes both ways. Make a habit to look for clever solutions or clean architecture, and leave a positive comment calling out the good work. Asking open questions and moving harsh corrections to private chats keeps the review constructive. You preserve team morale and prevent the kind of defensive arguments that derail productivity. Step 3 handles the outliers. The standard browser interface works for routine changes, but it breaks down when a pull request is massive or the code is highly entangled. When the logic is too complex to follow on a screen, pull the branch down to your local integrated development environment. Run the application yourself and manually test the new changes. Open your debugger and set your first breakpoint at the top view layer. Then step down into the vModel logic layer. Keep stepping into the use case layer and finally trace the path to the repository layer, ensuring data flows in a single, predictable direction. Running the debugger locally strips away the ambiguity. It is the most reliable way to ensure complex logic matches the author's intent, preventing production crashes from slipping past a blind approval. Step 4 is making the call. You've reviewed the logic, tested the edge cases, and now you have to return to the online repository to log your final decision. You have 3 outcomes. 70% of the time, select Approve because the code is safe. 20% fall under Comment for non-blocking questions. The final 10% is Request Changes, blocking the merge because the code will cause the application to fail. Applying these 3 options correctly protects the stability of your application. You stop bad code in its tracks, while ensuring your team's momentum is never bottlenecked by unnecessary holds. Step 5 is a final mental check. You now have the complete process to read, evaluate, test, and finalize any pull request that comes across your desk. But keep this reality in mind. If you lay out all your evidence and still cannot convince the author to implement your suggestions, you have to accept that you might just be the one who is wrong. Approach every review with an open mind. Practice this question-based workflow on your next pull request, and your code reviews will stay constructive, educational, and completely drama-free.